Hi everyone, I'm Veer Mahajan, and in this video I'm going to explain to you what exponents are. So basically exponents are repeated multiplication, and what that means is that you multiply a number by itself many times. So over here we're raising 3 to the power of 2, so the exponent is 2, but you can also call this power, and you might hear this many times. Exponents and powers can be used interchangeably, so just keep that in mind. So 3 to the power 2, the base is called the base, like the number at the bottom here, which I'm multiplying by itself many times, is called the base. So this number here is the base, and what we're doing essentially is multiplying it these many times. Okay, so the exponent is 2, so we're going to multiply 3 twice. So 3 times 3, that's 2 3s, and this is just 9. Okay, so 3 to the power 2 is 9. 3 to the power 3. So this is just a bit more complicated, but it's basically the same. We have to multiply 3 by itself 3 times, right? Because the exponent or power is 3. So 3 times 3 times 3. And this is 27, right? Because 3 times 3 is 9. And we're multiplying it by 3. So we get 9 times 3, which is 27. And another thing which you might hear very commonly is like when something is being raised to the power of 2, when the exponent is 2, people might call it 3 square, or whatever number is the base, square. And this just means that you're raising it to the power of 2. And it's the same with cubes. So, it's the same with powers of 3. Like when you raise something to the power of 3, that's called a cube. So 3 to the power of 3 is called 3 cubed. So just remember that as well, because that might be important, like if you hear it somewhere. Okay. And now we have spoken about very basic exponents like 1, 2, 3, but what about 0? And then what about fractions and negative numbers? Let me just talk about 0 now. Okay. 3 to the power 1 is 3, right? We're multiplying 3 by itself once to get this. Now 3 to the power 2 is 9. And 3 to the power 3 is 27. And all of these are being multiplied by 3. And then actually if I go here, and I'll explain this later, 3 to the power negative 1, that's 1/3. Okay, and I'll explain this later in the video, but yeah, just let me clear up some space here. 3 to the power of negative 2 is it's 1/9, so 1 over 9, and so on. So what is 3 to the power 0? And I'm sure you've noticed the pattern that this times 3 goes here. So 3 to the power negative 2 times 3 becomes 3 to the power negative 1. Again, we're multiplying by 3 to get to the next exponent. And 0 would be right over here, And that's why it would have to be 1. But this doesn't work for 0, and I might talk about that in another video, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Because now I'm going to talk about fractional exponents. Okay. So let's start with 16. So this is the base, and we're raising it to the power 1/2. So how are we supposed to evaluate this? Like, can you multiply 16 by itself 1/2 times? And you can't do that. You need to find what number needs to be multiplied by itself twice. So x to the power 2 equals 16. So you need to solve for x. And this number is raised to this power over here to get to the base. And over here the answer is of course 4, because we need to multiply 4 by itself twice to get to 16. And so 4 squared is 16. And let's just actually change the numbers here a bit. Let me change this to 16 to the power 1/4. Now I want you to try to find this one on your own. Let me just change the equation here as well. So you need to solve for x if x to the power 4 is 16. Okay, so I hope you tried this problem on your own, and let me just explain the answer now. The answer that you should have gotten would be 2. Okay, because you need to raise 2 to the 4th power to get to 16, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, these first two 2's multiply to become 4. Same here, this becomes another 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so that's the answer for this problem. Basically remember, with exponents that are fractional, remember that it's called the square root. Square root is when you're raising something to the power of like 1/2. Cube root is when you're raising it to the power of 1/3, so 1/3, and so on. And another way to write this is the cube root of 16. So you just draw this square root sign or this root sign, and then you write whatever the base inside here, and then how many times you need to multiply the number over here. And now I'm going to just explain what to do with negative exponents. Let's say we have 4 this time, and we're raising this to the power of negative 2. So the way that you would find 4 to the power negative 2 is by just, and this is something that I recommend doing, just forget about the minus for a second, okay? So just forget about it and just raise 4 to the power of 2 and you get 16. And now remember about the minus, otherwise you're going to get the problems wrong. So now there's a minus, and what the minus does is just takes the reciprocal of this. And the reciprocal means that you just make it 1 over whatever number you got. The same thing here. So 4 to the power negative 3, we'll have 64, right? Because we're forgetting about the negative. And then we just take the reciprocal of this. Oops. And let me just make this a bit straighter. So we get 1 over 64. And again, let me just explain why this is again. And I already showed you an example of this if you remember. Remember when I said 3 to the power 1 is 3, 3 squared, 3 to the power 2 is 9, 3 to the power 3 is 27, and so on. And then 3 to the power 0 is of course 1. When we go into the negatives, negative exponents, we continue dividing by 3. Okay, so this is divided by 3, divided by 3. So again we divide by 3 to get to the negative 1 power, and we get now 3 to the power negative 1 is 1/3, because we're dividing 1 by 3, so 1 over 3. And then after this we divide this by 3 to get 1 over 9, and so on. So that's how you should try to remember what to do when you have a negative exponent. I hope you understood all about exponents. If you learned something from this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.